Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Steve. Today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to cook my world famous, most flavorful 3-bean kinda veggie chili, alright? We all know it's cuffing season, so yeah, this is the perfect dish to cuddle up by the fire with your loved one and do some Netflix and chilling. Here are the ingredients that you need to get started. Okay, so what I like to start with is a regular soup pot, Dutch pot, or whatever you want to call it. I have my fire on a medium heat. So we're gonna melt this butter. We're gonna add the garlic puree so it all mixes together. And as you know from the previous episode, I like to start with the meat, base flavor, all right? Oh damn, I forgot to tell you guys that on the side, we're gonna do some rice. I'll teach you guys how to cook that after we finish up this chili. The whole half a stick. Now you add your garlic puree. Okay, so once the butter melts and the garlic puree is in there and it's melted as well, now what you want to go ahead and do is add your sausage, okay? Now this is the ingredient that I'm going to add for all you meat eaters out there because it is a vegetarian chili. If you're vegetarian, you can eat around these because they're big enough for you to see once the chili is made, alright? I like to season the sausage with a little onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder, and just a little bit of salt, seasoning salt, garlic salt, whatever you choose. So what I'm going to do now is add some of this onions to the pot, cilantro, and you add a little bit of green onions as well. We're going to mix all this in with the sausage so it all softens up. So when you add the veggie meat, now I'm going to add the Morningstar griller meat, alright? This is some good stuff right here. Tastes just like real meat. Okay, so the veggie meat is in there. Now it's getting ready. And sometimes it loses some moisture in there. If that happens, I say just add a little bit of that chicken stock. And mind you, you don't want to add too much of the chicken stock only because once you add the tomatoes to the chili, tomatoes creates a lot of water. A lot of the water that, is used for the chili and whatnot. So don't add too much of the chicken stock. Okay, so after you add the chicken stock, I like to cover it down just for about a minute. After that, we'll add some chili powder along with our Sazon to add a little bit extra flavor, that chili flavor that we all love. And what we're gonna do now is add the tomatoes, all right? Tomatoes, a little bit of extra green onions, regular onions, and some jalapenos for a little bit of spice, all right? So let's add these tomatoes. All right, y'all, make sure your fire is on a medium to low heat so that everything can cook slowly and all the flavors can kind of bleed out into the rest of the pot. So the next step is to add our beans, all right? We have the pinto beans, we have the kidney beans, and we have the black beans. I like to add the juices from the black beans as well. It adds a little bit more flavor, it adds a little bit more juice. And if you're new to this channel is all about flavor. If you don't got no flavor, you don't got nothing, all right? Okay, so now this is a very important step that you do not want to forget, all right? You need to add these bay leaves to the pot because we all know what happens when you eat beans, right? Okay, so in order to not have that issue, you add the bay leaves so it can kind of offset the gassiness from the beans, so that way you're not running to the bathroom every 5 seconds during Netflix and chili night. While that is, cooking, what we're gonna start now is our rice. If you don't know how to cook rice by now, it's a problem. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to cook the perfect, softest, most flavorful rice you'll ever make in your entire life. And let's do that right now. Pot. Now, I like to eyeball a lot of my measurements. I really don't use a measuring cup. I'm Jamaican, we never use measurements, all right? So 1/3 of this pot will have rice, whatever it be, brown rice, white rice, whatever. And then instead of water, what I like to do is add chicken stock. You go ahead and add your chicken stock to the pot. Now, some people like to ask, well, how do you know how much water to put? Are you gonna put too much? You're gonna put too little? I'm not sure. What I usually do, I like to fill the pot until the rice is completely covered. If the water is this much above the rice, that's perfect, okay? And make sure that the fork can go through the rice smoothly. If it's taking a hard time to go through, there's not enough water. If it's going through really easy, then that's way too much water. Okay, so what else I like to do is I like to add a little butter to my rice. It kind of helps soften the rice up as well. So I add some butter, I add a little salt, I add a little pepper, maybe some onion powder just to give it a little flavor. Okay, so the rice that I'm making is cilantro white rice. So make sure that the cilantro is completely dry, chop it very finely, and then you add it to the rice once it starts to boil up. Oh, and don't forget to check on your chili. Continuously stir it so all the flavors can kind of get worked into the chili, all right? And so that nothing sticks to the bottom of the pan. Even though it's a low flame, if you forget about it sometimes, it can stick. So just make sure you're consistently checking, consistently stirring. And once the rice is done, the chili should be done. We'll be good to plate it, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second, all right? So I checked on the rice, perfect. I checked on the chili, perfect. Enjoy your Netflix and chili. Alright y'all, that's it. Thanks for watching another episode of Cooking with Steve, Netflix and Chili edition. Stay tuned, I'm gonna teach y'all how to cook some next week, alright?